Chat, are you ready? Roblox, how to destroy your 83... Is that billion? Oh my god, it's billion. $83 billion company overnight. Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious me. How did they do it? 3, 2, 1, boom.
Jeffrey Epstein was
We're talking about Roblox, by the way. Don't get it twisted.
a man of many different identities. Some would know him as a very rich Wall Street investor. Others would have doubts that he's affiliated with
It's
a
Bill
foreign
Clinton.
intelligence agency. One thing was certain, though, this man was a diddler. And throughout the many decades
A
of his
diddy.
life, he'd make it a,
A
point
diddler.
to
A
collect
didder.
as many victims as he could. But even though he had so much
No.
money and power, it didn't necessarily mean that it was going to be easy. Our poor little Jeffrey would have to do all of the work by himself personally, isolating victims and taking advantage of them. Luckily for him,
Disgusting.
at some point in his life, he would get
Oh,
help
look
by
at
his
me, little
assistant,
buddy,
Ghislaine
chat.
Maxwell. But man, it must have been such hard work to ruin all these poor innocent young girls' lives. And one can't help but think, what if Jeffrey was born 20 or 30 years later? What if he was simply born in the wrong
He'd be a
generation?
Roblox
Because if he had
predator.
waited just a bit longer, he would have been able to do all this for free and with no need to have hundreds of millions of dollars and powerful connections in society. All he'd have to do is make one simple account on a platform called Roblox.
Yeah.
A game that openly markets itself to children, all while doing their absolute best to
Look how
protect the
happy
people
they
who would seek to
are.
hurt them the most.
You would never know.
Predators. This has been an ongoing problem for way too long, spanning many years, featuring articles like this written by Bloomberg with the title Roblox Pedophile Problem, featuring many
What?
games such as these, spaces made specifically to attract minors.
Rule 63. What's Rule 63, chat? You guys know this because you guys are gooners. Not that I'm being disparaging, I just don't know what it is. What's Rule 63? Oh, the gender swapping? Okay.
And do some very weird things
you.
with them. You'd have such disturbing cases pop up in relation to this game and what it does to minors that for most people,
No
while
way.
outraged, couldn't really do much except watch with horror on the sidelines. But now, after a major incident involving
Not only that, if you tried to stop it, you got reported and banned.
Roblox's executive team and its own CEO, it's facing its biggest existential threat to date. You have a U.S. congressman by the name of Ro Khanna publicly calling them out and making a petition to hold them
Holy.
accountable. You have the Attorney General of the state of Louisiana suing Roblox directly and calling the platform the perfect
Good.
place for pedophiles. The company is now facing multiple lawsuits over child safety, and some of its biggest and most well-known content creators are quitting its incentive program and pretty much boycotting the game.
Creekcraft is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Roblox enjoyer. And he quit. This is like disastrous, like 9/11, man. You thought that Cinder VTuber thing drama was bad? This is even worse.
This has been such a shit show that Chris Hansen himself, the man known from the show To Catch a Predator, has come out of retirement
I
to
like
make a
that guy. He's
documentary
funny.
about Roblox. And speaking of Roblox, they've lost over $12 billion in market capitalization in just 24 hours after they had conducted a disastrous live stream in which they tried their best to apologize. Guys, I say this with no exaggeration. Roblox is facing its biggest existential threat yet. But why? These predators have been running free for years. What changed now? Well, let's talk about it. Even though I'm on vacation, I got myself a laptop because I knew something was going to happen as soon as I went on vacation.
This guy's a freaking mind enjoyer, man. Back to the vines, Mr. Mujin. Poor guy. Get back in there, slave.
And here we are. So, without further ado,
Yeah, he
let's
saw parrots
do this.
fucking
All right,
problems.
so 13.8 billion years ago, the most important event in history
Big
occurred.
Bang!
The creation of the universe itself, dubbed the Big Bang.
Okay.
Humans would arrive way later, and
down.
throughout our history, we'd achieve many great things. We'd also, unfortunately, destroy many great things.
Mm-hmm.
All of this led up to the second most important date in humanity's history, which was September 1st, 2006, when Roblox had officially
This fucking guy,
released.
man.
Now you have to understand, back then, this was a ridiculous idea for a game. This concept of having an empty game that's meant to be populated by games made by players was alien, and it was so incredibly niche. I can say this myself because I was there at the beginning, back in 2010 when I created my account. I'm not going to show my character name because Roblox is probably going to ban me for this video, but look at my drip. I'm still wearing a Disney XD shirt.
Holy shit! This is OGAF!
Helmet. Back when Roblox had collaborated with Disney XD, that's like ages ago. Back then, there was...
He could sell that drip for a lot of money.
Still another currency called tickets. In parallel to Robux, you earn tickets just for playing. The most popular game at the time looked like this. It was a very bare bones FPS. When I would tell my friends about Roblox, they'd look at me like I'm crazy, like I'm weird. It definitely had a very rough start, and I'm sure the team behind it had moments where they were like, wait, is this gonna fail? But then, a couple years later, Minecraft would release and would gain massive popularity throughout the years that followed. At the same time, the concept of modding would become very popular within the gaming community. One of the best examples of this was Elder Scrolls V Skyrim when it released in 2011 and had a very well-rounded mod creation kit, giving this game more longevity than anyone could have ever predicted. Over time, the expectations that gamers had for a video game started to change. This is when you'd have both millennials and especially Gen Z expect more from their games, either in terms of content you initially get when buying the game or with content that players can produce. And soon enough, this game that had gone all into the content.
Yeah, Roblox popped off in like 2014, I want to say. That's when I started hearing about it. I was like, oh shit, look at this thing. It's like a little mini game thing. Because remember you used to play Flash games, but they adapted that into like an actual world?
Concept of user-generated content finally started bearing the fruit of their labor. In 2012, they had reached a very big milestone. 149 different user-created games had reached over 1 million plays. And in that same year, 2012, they had launched on iOS, with Android following a couple years later. They had seen early on how big the mobile market was going to be for games, and this helped them tremendously catapult into being one of the most played games of all time, reaching other platforms soon after, like consoles. According to Roblox's numbers, the monthly active users they have are in the hundreds of millions, with them reaching an average of 380 million monthly average players in 2024.
That's disgusting.
An absolutely ridiculous number that was helped a lot by the pandemic. As you can see, by the end of 2019, they had 113 million monthly active users, and by the beginning of 2021, they had doubled that number.
Yeah, little kids in front of their iPads. Even my neighbors that have like 3 kids, and one of them is only just like old enough to not care about Roblox anymore, all of them fucking love Roblox. That's what my go-to conversation starter sometimes when I see them like running around and playing. I'm like, did you play Roblox today? And they're like, yeah, Lana, we did. And I'm like, oh, what did you play? And they're like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like, you know, you're just pretending to like, you know, talk to be nice to kids. You're like, you just want to be nice to them. They really love it, man.
Going from 100 million to 200 million just like that. Like it was nothing.
I warned
but you
their
see,
parents
having
about
active
it, though.
players is cool, but seeing that all this content is generated by other players, how do you even make money? Well, Roblox from the beginning had a currency called Robux. The only way to earn it is buying it, and it's the only way you can buy cosmetics for your character to make them look different. Now, for a long time, most developers thought, well, listen, if we want to make a lot of money, we got to target the adult single male demographic that has a lot of income ready to spend. This is what gacha games did, for example, and it was a massive success, but Western developers had a harder time doing so. Roblox, on the other hand, came in and completely rewrote this entire philosophy. You see, when you make a free game targeting children, they're all gonna play it. And eventually, once they get very attached to the game and want to cut...
They steal their parents' credit card. How many of you took your parents' credit card without permission? I did. I got in trouble. A lot? No, I didn't do it like a lot. Maybe you guys did, but I did. I did take the credit card a couple of times because I wanted some fucking skins. Never I would have got whopped. I got whopped for that and I never did it again. I got whopped once and I never did it again, so don't worry. I'm not that much of a loser. I didn't hide it and keep doing it or whatever. Never cash only based! You would steal the cash and then go to the store and get your Robux that way?
Customize their character. Guess who's paying for Robux? Their parents. Look at this thread on Reddit here. Anyone else tired of their kids asking for Robux? Or how about this YouTube video?
My kid has
How to convince your parents to buy you Robux on Roblox, sitting at over 111,000 views. And other than the fact that parents were absolutely losing their minds over their kids asking for Robux, you'd also have articles like this pop up. A 24-year-old Roblox developer making over $1 million a year shares how he launched his own game development studio. After earning $100,000 in 1 month from one of his games while he was an intern, he left college. So on one hand, you were making money from kids begging their parents for Robux, and on the other, you were attracting young talent that had massive potential with the idea that they could be millionaires if they made the next hit game on your platform. I mean, at this point, other developers were looking at Roblox and they were drooling. How did we miss this gold mine? How could we not see that the next step in gaming was going to be user-generated content? The video game industry, ever since 2022, has been going through an apocalypse with over 35,000 jobs lost between 2022 and 2025. One of the only companies that didn't go through any mass layoffs was Roblox, completely avoiding the current video game slump. I mean, at this point, for investors, for gamers, for other companies, Roblox was unstoppable. But if you've watched any of my other videos, you understand that the story doesn't end with success. If anything, the biggest problems arise once you finally find that success. And Roblox had a reckoning coming. As I mentioned, this game was targeting children, and that's exactly what it got. 56% of Roblox users are under the age of 16. I'm very glad they specified age of 16 and didn't say 18 or just minors in general, because now all the cringe lords that would normally type, well, actually 16 is legal in some states, can't.
I didn't even know that, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that everywhere was 18. Arkansas, 16! Wait, East Coast is majority 16. That's kind of crazy.
Means that 56% of Roblox players are not legal
idea.
in any way, shape, or form. They can't give consent about anything. In fact, Roblox, the company, would go even further and say, according to the company, their monthly player base includes half of all American children under the age of 16.
What?
These guys have more of a monopoly on American children than schools do, and they spend over 6 hours a day there. And so, of course, even though they had figured out how to make a lot of money, Roblox had a very big problem. When a platform attracts such a huge population of children, they're faced with a very big responsibility, which is keeping them safe. And unfortunately, Roblox would do such an abysmal job keeping anyone safe on their platform to the point where the worst kinds of people took notice. And they took full advantage of that. Roblox blew up during the pandemic. That's something everyone is aware of. But even before 2020, you would start seeing articles like this popping up, saying, deputies say Vero Beach man used popular video game platforms to target children. Scott used popular video games such as Roblox, a multiplayer online game, to coerce children as young as 10 into sending naked photos in exchange for virtual gaming currency. In 2020, the Daily Mail would write, Roblox computer game is under fire for secret red light district where young kids are exposed to digital parties, racial slurs, and players soliciting and link to graphic images, including an image from an investigation that CBS had conducted in this game.
Get freaky on Snap. That's how you know it's a boomer ped. Yeah, that's how you know. They're like trying to get him on Snapchat.
Player model that's naked saying, I'm 14, who want get freaky on Snap? The Rolling Stone would also write an article about this, saying, inside the underground strip club scene on kid-friendly gaming site Roblox. Roblox is a place for kids to create and play games. Now, some are earning Robux giving lap dances in virtual clubs. It was becoming very evident for anyone who was like Jeffrey Epstein that because children relied on their parents to get Robux, sometimes those parents might say no. So if you gave them an alternate way to earn these Robux by doing some very illegal things, the odds of that happening were definitely in the predator's favor. Some of these articles I'm seeing are heartbreaking. These children were sending inappropriate images of themselves for as little as $5 for like 500 Robux.
Man, they'll fish where the fishes are, man. It's gross.
This wasn't just because they were naive and completely innocent because, you know, they're children. And it wasn't just for cosmetics either. Having Robux in this game that they probably spend so many hours on also meant power. This is a whole other topic for a separate video. But having played Roblox myself recently, I can tell you right now that every single top game on this platform is so painfully and obviously pay to win. It's the most shameless thing I have ever seen in gaming, and not enough people have called it out. You could be playing a quote-unquote skill-based game, and if you die, you can revive yourself by paying money and just shit on other players.
So the little kids that have their parents' credit card in the game saved, they die repeatedly because they suck because they're little kids and they're just farming their wallet. Wow, dude.
When you give a currency this much power in children's heads, in a game that they play for hours upon hours every single day and make friends in and make a community in, the Jeffrey Epsteins of this world will take notice very quickly and take advantage of the entire situation. Why bother putting yourself in danger by going on forums or Instagram or Snapchat? Why risk getting caught by law enforcement posing as a child when you have 56% of people playing this game being children? And you can get illegal favors from them for as little as $5. And more importantly, the platform you're on barely takes any actions against people like you. That was just the icing on the cake at that point. Around the end of 2023, a YouTuber by the name of Ruben Sim would create a video titled, "Do Roblox Reports Really Work?" in which he would find people going against TOS.
They don't work in MMOs where it's not even endangering kids. You think Blizzard bans bots? They do not. That's the key factor here. Other video games that have report systems that are for less don't work. You think that this shit's gonna work? Of course not.
Targeting children, being disgusting, reporting them multiple times, and not getting a single one of them banned through the report system, showing just how ineffective Roblox was at keeping children safe and literally indirectly protecting these disgusting people. This problem would get so bad that the National Center on Sex Exploitation would include it in its Dirty Dozen list in 2023. The Dirty Dozen list is an annual campaign calling out 12 mainstream entities for facilitating, enabling, and even profiting from sex abuse and exploitation. Roblox has been an honorary
App Store. Yeah, because they sell really gross games and try to get kids to play gross games for profit. Roblox. What's this one? Why is it blurred out? Oh, OF. Yeah, I can see that happening too, because you take your parents' credit card and just buy friggin' boobies. GitHub. Why would they be targeting GitHub? eBay. I don't get eBay too. Selling them bad things? They removed their adult-only section years ago. I don't get how eBay is relevant. Discord, I understand. Reddit, I understand. Twitter, I get it. Spotify? What? What is Spotify gonna do? There's freaky things on GitHub? Like what? I can see how GitHub, but it seems so weird at the same time. I don't get it. I thought it was just for programming. I don't know why Spotify, but I hate it. Adult pull requests. Terrible code. But that's not dirty. That's not what they're saying though. It's a file sharing site. You think that there's inappropriate file sharing there? There's Kik, Snapchat, and Instagram. I totally agree with those two, but I've got a little bit of question here with these two. And eBay as well. It isn't just coding. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I only exclusively used GitHub to figure out, I download, freaking mods or add-ons for games. Yeah, that's the only thing that I ever knew about it for.
Every member of this list every single year ever since being first included. But they wouldn't budge. The incidents would keep getting worse. A man was charged in kidnapping an 11-year-old that he met through Roblox. And still, radio silence. If you ever brought up this issue, they would say, well, hey, we have parental controls. You could set your child's age and it wouldn't show them adult-themed games. And you could even block certain games that you don't want your child accessing. But
But you have children in your game and you encourage children on your platform. That works with VR chat because VR chat automatically blocks it if you put that on, right? But they don't advertise themselves for kids. That's you're literally advertising to children, and 50% of your user base is children.
The age on a game was the creator's responsibility, and most of them set it to all ages. Why wouldn't they? They want the most players, right? And Roblox never checked that. And as for the games that the parents can block, there was a limit of 100. Bear in mind, Roblox has tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of different games. So see if that helps. The Roblox community, content creators, local media outlets, hell, even countries would talk about this. Turkey banned Roblox at some point, citing child endangerment.
That's
but
fair.
we'd hear nothing from this.
That is absolutely fair. You get your shit sorted, you'll get unbanned. What do you mean? They've seen it. We've seen it firsthand, what they have.
Company. They wouldn't address this as if it didn't exist. They were clearly making a lot of money. Investors were very happy with how well the stock was performing, and it seemed like shareholder interests were above anything else, even child safety. So they simply didn't care and were hoping it would go away while they still printed money. Well, that was until 2024, when even Wall Street took notice and threatened their reputation like never before.
Wall Street money.
Hindenburg Research is a forensic financial research firm that's fairly well known and respected on Wall Street. They specialize in writing very damaging reports about companies conducting fraud and other weird, suspicious illegal activities. They have a solid track record exposing corrupt companies and cooperating with the US government to bring them to justice. And while all of this might sound amazing from a moral standpoint, it's also tied to how they make money. You see, in the stock market, you can either...
I was actually just about to ask how is this a good thing for them to like expose people, and then I figured it out.
buy a stock, or you can buy contracts. The two most popular contracts are a call, in which you're betting an amount of money that a stock is going to go up at a certain date, and a put.
I was so fucking mind blown. I didn't think of that. I was like, oh, Wall Street, they like do stocks and stuff, right? Like, yeah, they fucking short them. They make smear pieces, or they make pieces exposing people, and then you short the stock.
Otherwise known as a short, in which you're betting an amount of money that at a certain date.
No, it's not market manipulation if it's not illegal.
A stock is going to go down. If you end up being right about either a call or a short, you stand to make a lot of money, in some cases over 100 times the amount.
Wow.
But if you end up being wrong, well,
yeah, it's okay when they do it.
Hindenburg would be very transparent. After they publish a report about a corrupt company, they would buy a sizable short position to put their money where their mouth is, but also to straight up make money, a lot of it. On October 8th, 2024, they would come out with this report titled Roblox, inflated key metrics for Wall Street and a pedo hellscape for kids.
That's
now,
not good.
you have
That's
to
bad.
understand, this title by itself was a bombshell, even by Hindenburg Research's standards. When this dropped, all of Wall Street was talking about it because it was pretty much attacking the two most important things that Roblox had pride in: its very high player counts and its kid-oriented demographic. Hindenburg Research would show up, well, with research and show us that a big chunk of this player count is actually a bunch of alts and bots, showing us just how easy it is to create multiple different accounts and how a huge chunk of players, sometimes half in some of the most popular games on the platform, came from both.
This is crazy. Look, that's one computer, and one computer runs like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4, 24 instances. Holy, they do this with World of Warcraft too. They don't do as many, I don't think. I think the maximum is like 10, because the game is like relatively intense to like use, even if you freaking box it in like this. But still, that's insane.
Vietnam and the Philippines, countries that sold many services to emulate multiple accounts on their machines, with the goal of farming as much currency as they can in some of the most popular games in order to sell the account later on eBay. A former Roblox employee would talk to Hindenburg Research and say internally, there is awareness that a lot of this activity was happening in Vietnam when these sort of things occurred, and that inflated a lot of our numbers. Like crazy, insane in terms of engagement, daily active users, and stuff like that.
So then ban the ones that are coming all from the same IP? I feel like this isn't like, this is such a non-issue. Surely they don't just like have like so many VPNs that they invest money into, and so many fake IPs.
Hindenburg points out that even though Roblox has all these hundreds of millions of monthly active users, it hadn't made a single profit since 2021. since going public on the stock market, losing $2.6 billion in 3 years. This section had directly attacked Roblox as a company, how they operate, their financials, and it concerned some of their top investors in Wall Street. But while this report so far only served to hurt their wallets, the next section would only serve to make them want to puke when they realized that Roblox was nothing more than a playground for pedophiles. They would point out that in 2023, the National Center on Sex Exploitation bluntly told the Roblox CEO, extensive evidence suggests that Roblox has not sufficiently prioritized child protection and has struggled to implement safety practices commensurate with its growth, resulting in a proliferation of exploitative and harmful content and predatory behavior. They would also mention the Dirty Dozen list that we saw earlier, as well as Bloomberg's article. Hindenburg would go on to show us many different incidents from 2019 to 2024 in which predators were arrested for having kidnapped, raped, or even traded sexual content with minors thanks to Roblox. But they weren't just going to end it here. Hindenburg took it a step further and actually tested out just how safe this platform was on their own time. They attempted to set up an account under the name Jeffrey.
Why don't we go after the people that let them go as well? Can we do that? Please? I'm not even talking about just the peds. I'm talking about the people that let them go.
Epstein, only to see that the name was taken along with 900 plus variations. They had found one account in particular called Jeff Epstein Supporter that had earned multiple badges for spending time in kids games.
How is the game even allowing the word Jeffrey Epstein or any other iteration of it? That's so fucking dumb. Yeah.
And a guy with the username iGrowminors and another one, I'm not even going to read that out loud.
They just don't care. Yeah, like really. How is there no filter? Like I can't even call someone, I don't know, Michael Myers in Dead by Daylight because for some reason the stupid AI auto censors it. But this can be made in a children's game?
But it's ridiculous. After this incredible revelation, just barely a few minutes after creating their account, they would register as a child, more specifically as a 9-year-old. They would then type Diddy in the search bar and would see many different games featuring Diddy.
How are the games even allowed? Look, Child Labor Tycoon 3, Freaky Diddy, Diddy Party, Nice Try, Diddy Simulator, Escape Freaky Party with Diddy, Survive the Diddy in Area 51. How is this allowed? Like, period. Certain words have to be censored.
With some titled Diddy Party, Freaky Diddy Simulator, Diddy Survival, Midnight at Diddy's Party, and things such as Escape to Epstein Island. They would then mention how Roblox claims it reviews every single image, video, and audio file uploaded to Roblox. While Hindenburg would join a game with the name School Simulator, a game that had over 29 million visits and had 0 age restrictions, and within just a few minutes, a player took out a sign with a massive sausage on it. This was literally within a few minutes of joining School Simulator.
Imagine how many kids are fucked up from this kind of thing. I'm not saying I'm not saying like you can't have like any form of like social interaction within a video game for kids. But this is so insane. Yeah, like pee-pee pictures in a kid's game, like how is this even allowed? Like why are you even allowed to share pictures within the game? Period.
Checking every single image, my ass. Actually, maybe you do. Maybe you like this kind of content, Roblox. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, what was even more worrying in this report is that Hindenburg would type the name adult in the search bar and find a group called Adult Studios with over 103,000 members. This was a group that was openly soliciting sexual favors and trading child pornography. It was very simple, right? All you had to do was find vulnerable children, give them Robux, and then trade whatever they send you with other people. This is like Jeffrey Epstein's paradise. And in just a few months, Hindenburg had found over 38 different Roblox groups where this was being done. Whenever one of them gets locked, another one gets made, and would take a very long time for it to get deleted by Roblox. But what was really crazy about Adult Studios in particular isn't just the fact that it had over 103,000 people, but that it has existed since 2009.
I'm telling you, I think it spiraled out of control and they had zero moderation and they were making so much money that exposing this kind of behavior was going to ruin them, so they rode this out as long as possible before being uncovered. I don't understand, and I can't like logically deduce why they wouldn't do something about this. Like Club Penguin and Toontown managed just fine. It was a very moderated game. Like, yeah, there were some instances of people working or skirting around the rules or like the filters or whatever, but it was very few and far between. It wasn't like this where it's like, oh, well, they had the Epstein Isle game on the game for years. Nobody cares.
15 years,
Hello?
and Roblox had taken no action whatsoever. There would be many people in these groups that had bios saying their age, of course, minors, giving their Discord username, and saying that they sell, you know what, for Robux.
This is federal agent behavior. There's no shot.
Giving their Discord
13 RP or trade in DC. Add me a 4 RP. Bio!
username and saying that they sell, you know what, for Robux. This would make anyone want to puke just reading this and seeing how even if you were to make a literal platform on the dark web to learn
Selling I have preview 14 IRL age. I think I'm gonna be sick, man.
minors, it wouldn't do a better job than Roblox. It's ridiculous. When this report came out, Roblox, unlike other instances where children were actually put in danger, would respond almost immediately. You can pause the video if you'd like to read the whole thing, but in a nutshell, they'd say that they take content moderation very seriously.
Oh, yeah,
and that everything in that report shouldn't be
seriously.
taken seriously because Hindenburg themselves have an agenda. They simply want to make money profiting off of Roblox's stock going down. But overall, seeing that Hindenburg's report was like over 100 pages long, this 1 page and a quarter was extremely disappointing. Like, that's all you have to say for yourself, really? After the report would come out, the stock would take a bit of a beating back in October of 2024, but in a few months would recover fully. And in around 8 months would double from $50 to $100. Even Hindenburg, who had taken down companies based on their shady practices, couldn't stop Roblox. Many people were hoping, including me, that this reaching Wall Street would finally make something happen, but it didn't. This wasn't the first time someone was bringing up these problems, and Roblox had done what they had done before. Sit back, ignore it, and it'll go away by itself. Well, enough was enough.
What happened in April? Maybe that was the first instance of Schlepp doing the video. Yeah, when he started, like, you know, publicizing it, and then it popped off, like, in what, like, August? It would kind of make sense, but I don't know. I'd have to look into it.
Many Roblox players who had grown up with this game had noticed just how others were being taken advantage of on the platform.
Why
Once
is
they
this
realized that they could
allowed?
report someone over 100
Look at
times for taking
Schlepp!
advantage of minors and having nothing happen to them, they decided to take matters into their own hands. This is when you would start seeing over the years many of these videos start to pop up of
Yeah.
Roblox players working with law enforcement agencies to get predators off the game and off the streets for good. This would follow the same strategy that someone like Chris Hansen would do. On his show, To Catch a Predator, he would have someone pose as a minor, talk to these predators, lure them to a
Have a
location
seat.
in which the predator
Have a
thinks
seat.
they can take advantage of the minor and have the police waiting for them. One of the most popular Roblox predator hunters would be Schlepp, someone who had been playing the game for many years, ever since being a kid, someone who had met his girlfriend on the platform and holds a lot of love for the game, but also a victim, someone who has been groomed on the platform before and doesn't want to see a single child suffer the same fate as him. He
So
would make quite a
gross,
few
man.
videos about this and would work directly with law enforcement to arrest over 6 predators, with some
And before you say vigilantism, he didn't do vigilantism. He actually went out and showed the evidence to the police, and the police got them arrested.
having done way worse things than what they were doing on Roblox, sometimes
Yeah.
possessing illegal material of minors on their hard drive.
Absolutely
It really
disgusting.
sucked how Roblox was doing nothing to protect children, but it was so admirable how people like Schlepp took time out of their day, worked countless weeks and months while coordinating with law enforcement to capture these freaks to keep children safe. But again, instead of taking notice, instead of actually trying to help them or hear what they had to say, Roblox would just ignore them, ghosting them whenever they'd reach out. And
Not only that, I don't know if he's gonna bring this up, but they fucking let those people back onto Roblox, they would get arrested and then they would get, you know, released from jail or whatever after a certain amount of time, and they would just hop back on the game.
Never acknowledging their existence. That will be until August 10th, 2025, when instead of finally trying to improve the platform for children's safety, they would instead take the unfathomable decision of banning the very people who were keeping their platform safe. On August 9th, 2025, Schlepp would tweet this out on his Twitter, saying, "Every account I've ever made on Roblox has been terminated, and Roblox sent a cease and desist letter to me. Not a single Roblox predator I've ever gotten arrested has faced any action similar to this. I have no words."
They'll perma-ban
Even though this was
guy.
my livelihood and career outside of Schlepp, I have no plans to return to Roblox. I will not be making any new accounts. So this was already a very shocking development. Why would Roblox take action against someone like Schlepp doing his best to keep their platform safe? Well, the next day, on August 10th, 2025, he would release this video titled, "Roblox is threatening to sue me for protecting kids," in which he would show us what the cease and desist letter actually said. While Roblox acknowledges that your stated intentions may be to protect children, and while it recognizes the serious nature of online predatory behavior, your methods, including failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox
But he had proof of reporting it and you did nothing. Dude, the court of law is gonna go crazy on this.
through proper channels, are actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols and critically are exposing Roblox's users to increased risk. So already this paragraph is wild, saying that what Schlepp is doing was putting people in danger, when in reality it was
Oh yeah, established safety protocols. Yeah, we have honeypots in our video game. Okay, then start banning the pets. I don't know. How does this shit make any sense? It doesn't if you start thinking about it logically, but then if you start thinking like with your head, like if you only cared about money, it makes sense. This game blew up. They didn't know how to handle it, and because there's so many children on the platform and they were making so much money, they just didn't know what to do, and this is how it's blown out of proportion. This public statement and this cease and desist essentially catapulted this into the stratosphere, into it being a Streisand effect. It would have been better if they didn't say anything and just banned him.
only doing the opposite by arresting
Schlepp,
predators. They would then say,
Yeah.
accordingly, and pursuant to Roblox's policies, Roblox will be closing your accounts. Please note that Roblox community standards prohibit opening new accounts to evade an enforcement action. Therefore, we demand that you cease and desist from accessing the Roblox platform. Please be advised that Roblox reserves all rights to take any and all appropriate legal action against you should your violations of the Roblox community standards continue.
What?
So not only were all of your accounts banned, not only were you being blamed for making the platform a bigger danger, but if you just as much attempted to continue using Roblox, we will be suing the hell out of you as a billion-dollar company. You know, this is really interesting because it seems to me as if they're siding with the predators. I think that's what most people concluded from this cease and desist letter. But what's ironic is their usage of using the appropriate channels to report people. This is when Schlepp would point out that he was actually threatened with a terroristic threat on this platform in Roblox by a user called Nepali Incel, went ahead and reported him, and nothing happened. In fact, the biggest irony here is that Schlepp ended up being banned before him. And what was really interesting too is the fact that Roblox was calling Schlepp a vigilante. But Jadion, a very big YouTuber that Schlepp had collaborated with multiple times to arrest predators, pointed this out about the usage of this term. Watch.
Okay, they're calling Schlepp and us vigilante groups, right?
It's not
the
true.
definition of a vigilante is someone that takes the law into their own hands. Throughout any of our Roblox interactions, have you guys ever seen us beat the crap out of these dudes, handcuff them
It's a
ourselves,
bit loud, sorry.
take them over to the... No. We literally just have conversations with them. We report everything to the police. When the police get there on scene, they see obviously that there was a crime committed, and they do the right thing and arrest them. I mean, I really don't know any more of a proper channel than literally reporting to the police themselves.
So essentially, Roblox was making Schlepp out to be
So if you're a parent and you're concerned and you report it to the police with evidence and with your child, and you reported it to Roblox and they did nothing and you had no other option and you go to the police, that's vigilantism according to Roblox. Something don't add up, I feel like, eh?
Some rogue Batman figure ditching the entire justice system and taking justice into their own hands, deciding who's guilty and laying out the punishment to them without any intervention from the law, when this could not have been further from the truth. Schlepp would always make it a point to be coordinating with law enforcement, only supplying them with necessary evidence. That's it. That's the opposite of a vigilante. That's a good Samaritan. More and more people were starting to understand that Roblox's problem with Schlepp just didn't really make sense. Do you really have a problem with someone taking time out of their own day, working with law enforcement, pursuing someone legally so that they can't use your platform to take advantage of children? I mean, it didn't really make much sense. This story was so ridiculous that it would result in Schlepp gaining a lot of traction. This is when he would take the opportunity to show everyone how just 10 years ago, after having been groomed for multiple years by an adult through Roblox, he decided to leave this planet, but thankfully didn't succeed. As he was laying on the hospital bed, his mother would email Roblox support, telling them about what had happened. And
did they tell her to kick rocks?
The response was an absolute joke.
I've never seen this. Your son is going through a really tough time.
It would start off saying, hey, really sorry your son's going
My kid almost freaking left the planet, and your response is like, we can't really do anything about it. Just report the abuse button. Please contact the police. They told her to contact the police!
Through a tough time.
Right
yeah,
there.
That sucks. We're going to do everything we can. Here's a couple of suicide hotline links. But anyway, if you're having any problems with any other players on Roblox, you should really use the report abuse button.
We're sorry.
Sincerely, Carlos, customer care.
I'm 90% sure this was a bot. Like an AI. Yeah, if you've talked to them, yeah, like usually it's an AI.
Roblox. I mean, you might as well just give them a middle finger at this point. Schlepp said, nearly a decade later, I see very similar emails from Roblox regarding predators we get arrested. Nothing has changed. In fact, Edwin Dorsey would point out that so many cases go unreported, undetected, or contribute to the deaths of children.
This was before AI? No, it wasn't. No, it was not. I can absolutely attest the day I started getting tickets, response that were 100% AI, but I couldn't prove it, was 2018 to 19. I would send in tickets to Blizzard and it would be 100% a fucking AI. It just got better over time where it started being like ridiculous because they'd respond instantly. No, there's no way, man.
Below is just one lawsuit in which a 10-year-old girl claimed abuse
You just
through
didn't know about
Roblox.
it.
She attempted to leave this planet twice in 2020. Schlepp was unfortunately far from being the only one here, with Edwin also showing us over 30 cases from 2019 up until 2025 of predators,
That's
sometimes
way too
even
many,
people
man.
who are already on the registered sex offender list, use Roblox.
And you're allowed access to the internet?
To attain their very disgusting goals involving minors. And to add further salt into the wound, one day after Schlepp had been banned, this paid emote got released called
Why is this allowed in a kid's game? Why? It's paid. They get money. They approve of this.
Catgirl Stretching. And let's be real here, this is not stretching. This will definitely get used for very weird RP. What happened to Schlepp was gaining traction.
I think that the devs who made this, like, there's obviously a chain of command of, like, people that allow certain things, right, to happen. And there's, like, logs in a company. I think this person that made this and then it got approved and then all the people after that approved of this, you've got to do something. Like, you got to investigate these people. Genuinely.
Stretching. This will definitely get used for very weird RP. What happened to Schlepp was gaining traction very quickly within the Roblox community, and only a couple days after his video had released, one of the biggest Roblox YouTubers on the planet, Creekcraft, would tweet this out, saying, "There's been talks between very large Roblox YouTubers planning a mass exodus from the Roblox Star program. Roblox developers planning hashtag free Schlepp chants at RDC, which is the annual Roblox convention, a few sponsorship opportunities in jeopardy due to Roblox's recent actions. That's where we're at right now." Things were getting real very fast, and Roblox couldn't afford to stay silent this time around.
It's a big
So
deal.
on August 14th, 4 days after Schlepp had posted his initial video, they would tweet out, "For transparency, we are sharing more information about our decision to remove vigilantes from Roblox." Linking up
They doubled down publicly. This is gonna go to court. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way this doesn't go to court. I'm not a lawyer, but like I can deduce the fact that if you factually call someone something that they're not, and then you frame it that way in front of the public, that's, I don't know if it's libel or sound, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Like you have to fucking like sue them or something, or countersue them for this. It's criminal negligence? I don't know how it works. I'm not a lawyer, but like it just fuck, dude. What is going on?
blog post on their website.
Yeah, defamation.
This entire blog post would be them trying to justify not only them banning Schlepp, but the ban of any vigilante on Roblox. Anyone who was trying to protect children by going after predators, pretty much. I mean, look at their amazing reasoning on why they removed vigilantes. They said they've been monitoring vigilante activity on Roblox for some time. It started.
That's cap, because then you would probably ban the pedos, wouldn't you? Yeah. It's like actually doesn't make any sense.
Out as a group of people trying to give feedback to Roblox, telling them to do better, something they appreciated. But then vigilante activity evolved. Instead of just reporting on safety issues, vigilantes started impersonating children and actively sought to connect with adult users. Those conversations mimicked inappropriate behavior and actively encouraged other users to connect on other social media and messaging platforms, thus bypassing Roblox's own safety systems.
I mean, safety would imply that you have any, because obviously you don't. Like,
Oh, I see. So because these vigilantes were posing as minors and taking these poor predators away from Roblox onto other platforms meant that they were just as bad as predators, if not worse, which is why they should be banned. Yeah, of course, that makes total sense. Adding that none of the activity discussed above is acceptable on Roblox. We have teams dedicated to reviewing and investigating the reports we receive. But at this point, no one believes that anymore. As soon as this disastrous statement would come out, Schlepp would tweet, "Roblox has tripled down in their latest newsroom post, outrageously comparing me to actual predators because my decoys tell adults that they're children. We use the same..."
They're not using real children though, that's the difference.
"Tactics that the FBI, ICAC..."
This is what AI should be used for. Like making fake people so that real people don't get exposed to this. Like, again, like, what the hell, man?
"And local police departments use in their own operations to catch predators." This is something they actually said, dude. "Similar to actual predators, they often impersonated minors, actively approached other users, then tried to lead them to other platforms to have sexually explicit conversations, which is against our terms of use." Mind you, this whole post was written by Matt Kaufman, their chief safety officer. This is the man that needs to be held accountable, that so many children are being taken advantage of. And he's out here saying that Schlepp and what he was doing was just as bad as predators. Do you understand how crazy this is to say to someone who was literally groomed on your platform for multiple years and tried to leave this planet ending up in a hospital bed? That is wild. So of course, very shortly after, they got community noted on this tweet, saying the blog post that...
This is why Twitter is the superior platform compared to Blue Sky. Blue Sky doesn't have community notes because they don't have a community to begin with.
Roblox link in this X post claims that Roblox takes action against bad actors after receiving a report. An experiment ran by YouTubers shows that 100 blatantly obvious sexual accounts were reported and none were removed. Referring to the video I showed you earlier titled, "Do Roblox player reports really work?" So the Roblox community wasn't having it. Twitter community notes.
This guy's name is Oh my god. I didn't even see this one. Look at that one. Plap?
Wasn't having it. I mean, at this point, no one believed them anymore.
Excuse
This is why the day
me?
afterwards, Creek would officially announce that he was
I've seen less bad names on freaking COD and Dota. I'm not even joking.
leaving the Roblox Star program and cutting all ties to the Roblox development
I'm not
team.
even
This
kidding.
irresponsible
I've
attitude
seen
towards
less
minors
bad
and these
ones.
very blatant lies had gone on for way
Yeah,
too
condom of a
long.
dispenser.
But what
Yeah, I
was
saw
really
that one.
insane here is that Creek later would join a game in Roblox called The Schlepp Funeral. And he, as well as everyone watching him, would find out that Roblox was taking measures to block any mention of Schlepp on their platform. Watch as this map gets banned within a few seconds after he joins.
You know what I mean? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
They'll do that, but not to the school simulator. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Bathroom simulator, that's fine. Guy showing a pee-pee through an image on school simulator where there's a bunch of kids. Yep. No, Schlepp funeral will get instantly banned.
Uh-oh.
That's crazy.
Oh, I'm not banned. Okay.
What's the double audio? I think it's because of copyright. Yeah, he doesn't want to get copyright struck, that's why. If I had to guess.
Well, they got us, chat. They got us. We're
Or it's an
rebels
editing
on the-
problem, I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, you're not crazy. Starting as early as August 13th, 2025, if you made a new account on Roblox and used Schlepp in its name, it would get banned. And if you would put the name Schlepp in your bio, you'd get a warning. But hey, if you
Oh
still want
my
to call your account Jeffrey
God.
Epstein, you can. You'll get no ban.
That's... You can put Epstein in your name in a kid's game, but you can't put Schlepp. How is this real life?
No warning. Great.
You couldn't
Schlepp
make
would tweet
this
out,
shit
Schlepp
up.
games are allegedly being taken down. Same with shirts and assets, but not bathroom games. I mean, at this point, it had barely just been
monkey.
5 days since Schlepp released his video, and this had already reached the mainstream. It was that ridiculous. Soon enough, you had a congressman by the name of Ro Khanna reach out to Schlepp directly concerning Roblox's child safety issues, only to then
Predator
afterwards
Buster.
create a petition demanding that Roblox not only take accountability, but vows to do better in regards to child safety as soon as possible. At the same time, the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill, would sue Roblox directly, saying that it endangers
Yep.
the safety of the children of Louisiana and that it's overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child
does.
safety.
It does.
She would then conduct a press
100%
release showing
valid.
off some of the crazy games you can play as a
Dude, it's printed on a board that they stand in front of. What world am I living in where a congresswoman in Louisiana has to explain to a bunch of 45-plus-year-olds what Roblox is and how it's grooming kids? 1,200 active users. That's insane. That's like actually impressive. Dude, private servers of World of Warcraft can't even do numbers like this. 20.6 million visitors a month.
9-year-old on this game. Watch.
This is the kind of obscene garbage
Or is that
they are
total? I don't know
peddling
if it
to
is
our
total or
children
not, but...
in Louisiana.
Oh my god. I'm gonna piss myself, dude. This is so funny.
I will not stand by and watch this company grow exponentially from exploiting children and facilitating child sexual abuse for profit.
This is a good Karen. Collective shout, take notes. Actually doing something. Actually a relevant and valid thing to do.
That is not something you want an attorney general of a state of the United States to
This is what
say
Karens
about
should be
you.
for
And if you thought
actual
things
good
couldn't get
reason.
worse, then Chris Hansen, the man behind To Catch a
Dude, he kind of looks... Damn, he kind of... Man, I remember he had a lot more hair and he has brown hair. Damn, dude, he's kind of old. You brought the king of destroying predators out of retirement because of your bullshit.
Predator came out of retirement saying that he was going to cover what was happening
gonna
with
beat your
Roblox.
ass.
That's how you know that you truly fucked up. He's working directly with Schlepp to investigate what's going on with Roblox and will hopefully be releasing a documentary on it sometime in the future. All of
Dude, we gotta watch that. That sounds Kino. That is Kino.
this would culminate in the Roblox stock losing around 7% of its market capitalization within just the span of 24
Yikes.
hours. In other words, the company had lost over $12 billion
That's
in
a lot
day.
of money.
And only after being sued by the Louisiana Attorney General would they finally take down a game that has been reported for months on end by multiple community members by the name of XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator.
Why is this so... Look, blushing, hee hee, and this guy's grinning, and she's all like, she's all perking herself up and shit. Like, yeah, it's getting exciting.
It's insane. They would then say that they're planning to restrict social hangouts that include private spaces such as bathrooms or bedrooms to ID verified.
Why is it restricted? Why don't you just ban it? It's a kid's game. I would understand if you make the argument and say, oh, well, it's Second Life or freaking VR chat or, you know, actual, you know, where adults interact in a space. I totally get that. But this is freaking Roblox. There's kids.
17
in the
plus
space.
users trying their best to do damage control, but only making
Why
it
17?
worse.
I don't know.
Freak would quote tweet this and say, "This is a crazy hill to die on. Roblox
Yeah, why is it
bathroom games
17?
are games. Making them 17 plus doesn't solve the issue. 17-year-olds are still minors."
I think the argument that they're trying to make is that 17 is not... Yeah, like the laws or whatever in states and stuff exist at 17. Some places. I don't know though. I'm not trying to justify it. I just think it's weird.
Roblox is still allowing
probably
kids to be in
why.
these games. Holy shit, just ban the damn games. Nobody wants sex games on the platform. I mean, yes, this is such a weird hill to die on. Player numbers do matter. Profit does matter for a company, but not through things like this. If banning games revolving around bathrooms and bedrooms is going to affect your player count and stock price so much, then maybe your company doesn't deserve to exist in the first place.
Base,
And I mean, by
true.
that point, it was official. This had reached mainstream media, the average person, more importantly, parents of children who play this game. It had blown beyond proportion. How could a company be so stupid? And unlike every other time they've been exposed, Roblox had to make a solid statement this time to save its skin from being completely burnt to a crisp. So what did they do? They, of course, made
Guys,
the
it's
situation
under
1,000 times
control.
worse. On August 16th,
Oh no.
2025, David Baszucki, the CEO of Roblox, would tweet this out, saying, "Safety and civility have always
The
been our top
Banjo-Kazooie
priority. Here's an
music is
update on
killing
our
me,
safety
man."
releases over the past few weeks, including our updated approach to vigilantism. We also preview additional releases in the works, linking a YouTube video." The official Roblox account would retweet this and outline the exact topics discussed here. Okay, well, let's check it out. Oh wait, there's no
Okay.
need. Just look at this. Around the 15-minute mark, here's what the chief safety officer of Roblox would have to say about vigilantes, more specifically people like Schlepp. They would report to the police, and then only after would they let Roblox know.
We'll see about that in the court of law. I'm more inclined to believe they tried to report them and then nothing happened and then they go to the police, right? Right?
To which Schlepp would say, "Are we serious right now? You're upset that I was reporting information to the police before reporting it to Roblox?" Like, what the fuck? Chief safety officer, by the way. I mean, look, guys, this
It
video
doesn't
was
matter
40
either
minutes
way.
of...
That's literally what they tell them to do in the ticket too. They're like, hey, if your kid is going through it and they're being groomed, in the ticket itself, in customer support, they said, contact the police. You said it yourself. They have the emails.
Mumbo jumbo. It was the most robotic, cringe, and tone-deaf thing I've ever seen in my
my
life.
gosh.
Probably written by ChatGPT and approved by like a team of 50 lawyers. They talked a lot, but essentially said nothing. The same things over and over again. Guys, we have tools, we have parental controls, we're doing our best. Well, your best isn't enough. And the like to dislike ratio shows what people think of your stupid statement.
Wow,
Not to mention that the CEO got community noted, saying Roblox has a history of refusing to take action against sexual predators, linking 4 different sources. The CEO is being absolutely cooked, so it came as no surprise that just a day later, a petition calling for the removal of David Baszucki had received over 100,000 signatures. The campaign accused Roblox leadership of putting children on the platform at risk and ignoring community concerns. And as all this was happening, as they were saying,
selling for maps, and the about is written in Morse code so that you can't decipher it unless you look up a guide for Morse code. They're getting kind of creative, I'm not gonna lie. This is literally Pred Talk. I think there was a really similar case on YouTube where they used really coded language, like they would be watching a video that features children in a very innocent and innocuous way, and then they would have that translated into like a coded way into the YouTube comments so they could communicate with each other. This actually makes me sick. Yeah, it's a porn. It's disgusting. Genuinely, wood chipper moment. You think the cops can't translate that? No, it's not about that. Like, the cops can absolutely translate this. I'm saying, like, the filter that they have, if they even have one, I don't know, but it wouldn't be able to read this, so they're doing this to counteract it.
That their safety features were amazing as they were banning the word schlep in their game. A user made this video and Schlep reposted it. Just watch for yourself. I mean, it's self-explanatory. Look at this mess.
For the selling for maps account, well, I did the crazy thing. I don't
it's our dude! It's our boy!
know if I was stupid. Maybe I am an actual f***ing idiot. I tried reporting this profile. I reported it saying, yo, Roblox, maps, this is a dog whistle for predators, and the bio is in Morse code, soliciting photos. And I'm just going to refresh the page in case you don't believe me, but nothing happened to their profile, even though their username is clearly bad. And I'm pointing out their username because Roblox, what they're doing right now is they are moderating users with hashtag free schlep in their...
No, man. They have, Fuda in their name. They have... Like, the fact that a game I play sometimes, Dead by Daylight, has more moderation for naughty words or, like, saying slurs than Roblox, a kid's game. That DBD is, like, an M-rated game, where it's, like, R16. I think it's M-rated. But anyway, like, it has more moderation than this. Like, are we serious right now?
Your display name. If you put free schlep in your display name on Roblox, you will get punished.
This is
Roblox
so
will punish
dumb.
hashtag free schlep, but not selling for maps 1.
I mean, honestly, at this point,
Yeah,
if I was a
Link has better
predator, I'd be
moderation,
jumping
quite
up and down,
honestly, yeah.
celebrating the fact that there was a multi-billion-dollar company out there that was protecting me. And instead, banning someone who would go after me. I mean, seriously, can you make this any worse? What was Roblox even doing right now? Well, they were debating the age-old question, 17 or 18. In response for 17-year-olds being allowed into social hangouts that include private spaces such as bathrooms or bedrooms, Roblox has stated they are now considering 17 versus 18 for these experiences.
Why is this even a debate? If you... This company must be run by, like, absolute fucking retards, predators, or both. Because I don't understand the logic of, like, hey, my company's falling apart. Why don't I just do the PR thing of making it 18 plus or banning the games outright? As opposed to, like, releasing a public statement saying, we're considering making it 17 versus 18. We're not sure which one we should pick. Like, what? What are you doing?
It's like, no matter what.
Like, even if you're faking the concern, like, what?
Take anything away from them. You could call them predators, but you could not take the bathrooms and bedrooms away from them.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
can't
what the
take that
fuck?
away.
Why are you dying on this hill? Well, we'd
You
start to
stupid
understand
idiot.
why.
Do you want
You see, the
that?
chief security officer, Matt Kaufman, has some interesting badges in his inventory. Badges can be collected by playing specific levels, and his badges tell us a very interesting story. For example, he had played a game called Pilchero Outfits, closed-off condo game in Roblox The Hatch event. Another badge he had was from Dollhouse RP, placed under review just on August 16th, after this whole scandal had broken.
if you're into weird shit and there's just a bunch of consenting adults role playing being fucking toddlers and shit, I get it. That's really fucking weird. But if you're doing that with a bunch of adults, I think it's a little bit different than doing it on a kid's game with other children. Don't you think it's a little bit weird? I don't know. Just weird.
Out.
Very strange.
This is a game that was full of info sharing, age play, dating, etc. He also had a badge from a now banned game called Teddy's Largest Condo. At its peak, this had over 76 million players and it was a dating game. He has a Halloween 2024 badge that was only available for a limited time. Another game he played and has a badge for was Your Sus Roommate, which was banned. It was a suggestive AI girlfriend game with a...
Why is this allowed? I've seen Steam games get banned for less. Your sus roommate that has a sus ending.
Sus ending. Last but not least, he had a badge for Row Meet, a game that was closed by its own developers. This was an Omegle/Tinder-esque game that often saw dating and predatory behavior occur. Interesting. You know, I wish we would finally be able to see the client list of Jeffrey Epstein, because I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe...
How easy is it to get badges on Roblox for your inventory? Like, do you have to be actively in the room, or do you have to play a certain amount of time? Does anybody know? You just join? It depends on the game creator? Just join the server. Okay, I can't find a consensus on it. Depends on the badge. Okay, we don't know for sure, but that's still really fucking weird. Because you could make the counter argument and be like, oh, well, maybe they were, like, watching and stuff, right? Like, they were, like, joining and watching. But if it's, like, anything beyond that, I think it's just extremely weird.
Matt Kaufman is on those papers. Now, of course, some people would argue that he was visiting these levels to ban them, but as the chief safety officer, you don't spend your time on Roblox banning individual games. The underpaid moderators do that. That's why it's so suspicious.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. You get the grunts to get them. Yeah.
But this behavior didn't seem to be exclusive to the chief safety officer. No, this seemed to be a company-wide mindset. Schlepp would tweet out, this is an alleged quote from a Roblox administrator in a child safety lawsuit. It said, as one former Roblox employee explained in describing the company's approach to child safety, you have to make a decision, right? You can keep your players safe, but then it will be less of them on the platform. Or you just let them do what they want to do.
But 50% of your player base is children. Yo, Mia, what up? I want to blow my braids out. Hi, how are you doing?
And then the numbers all look good and investors will be happy. I mean, at this point, it was only confirming what we already knew. Roblox just seemed the kind of company that would easily, in a heartbeat, bring back slavery if it meant higher player count and more money. There were absolutely...
Well, that's why they don't ban the bots or the preds. Like, it's just that easy, guys. It makes him money. Yeah, money's the bottom line.
No morals at play here. Let these children have their lives completely ruined because we simply don't want to see our player counts drop.
Wouldn't it just be weird if I said something like along the same lines and say stuff like, oh, well, I know I said I'd ban anyone who's under 18 out of my chat, right? But I don't want to do that because it gives me more of a viewer count if I don't ban every single one of the underage people, even though that's against my rules. Like, that would be the same thing as me saying that, in my opinion.
Evil. That's disgusting.
That's all you care
and
about.
Speaking of evil and disgusting, both MasterCard and Visa are facing immense backlash after forcing Steam and itch.io to remove certain adult games off their platforms. Now, bear in mind, these platforms actually do look out for children and make it extremely hard for them to access such games. I don't know much about itch, but I know that on Steam, there are some very strict parental controls and children will never be able to even see any games deemed adult. These were adult games made for adults. But Visa and MasterCard, the companies that pretty much monopolize payment processing in the world, didn't care. Now, what's really interesting here is that both Visa and MasterCard are still very happily accepting payments on behalf of Roblox, showing absolutely zero disagreement and not even commenting once about what's going on in regards to children's safety. In fact, fact, what's even better is that both of them
I'm
are in direct
noticing, I'm
partnership with
noticing.
Roblox, with Visa in particular having acted as a sponsor at some point. So what gives? An adult can't play an adult game, but when children do, it's okay? I mean, at this point, even encouraged? That's kind of weird. But the good news is that even though Visa and MasterCard are spineless and are not doing anything in regards to this, Schlep is enlisting the help of a law firm in order to sue Roblox over what they did to him. I wish him the absolute best, and I really hope he wipes the floor with them in court. He deserves it. Look,
I think the scariest part about this is that they might actually win by draining him of, like, money. Yeah, I don't know if he can win against a multi-billion-dollar company in a lawsuit, because unfortunately that's just how it works. I hope he wins. I'm not saying that I don't want him to win, but holy crap.
overall, this thing has been
Scary to
such
think
a
about.
ridiculous mess. It feels like a fever dream. How could the CEO, the child safety officer, just everyone involved in the executive team of this company see this and
This could
think
turn
we're doing the
federal? I
right
hope
thing?
so.
What's the point in being able to grow a company
Pile 'em
and
on.
make a lot of money if you're doing it at the expense of children? When your platform is literally hurting innocents, it simply doesn't make sense.
No,
and
it's the
now people are
children's
hoping
fault,
that unlike
obviously.
every other major controversy that had happened beforehand in regards to child safety with Roblox, this time would be different, especially with the law going after them. At the same time, though, while many want to see Roblox face justice, they don't want this used as an excuse to enact something similar to the UK Online Safety Act in the US.
True.
In other words, they don't want lawmakers to limit online free speech while using child safety as an excuse. No one's falling for that. The UK right now is pathetic. It's dystopian. So if you're American, definitely go sign that petition by Rokana. Definitely express your discontent with this company to your local congressman or senator or whatever.
Or
And
your
let's get
local
this
VTuber
company
too.
to finally
Yeah.
face accountability for all the harm that they have done and continue to do on a daily basis. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I'm sorry for the echo. There's not much I can do about the room I'm in right now. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I just hope that things can calm down for a little bit, just for a couple more weeks until my vacation's over, and I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Mwah.
He did this while on vacation, chat. Yo, man, can you please stop hunting predators? Trying to jork it over here. Thanks. Oh my god, dude. Go check him out. Why are you typing V? I didn't type V. You fucking motherfrickers. You're gaslighting your brain into it. Bro, can I just say that this guy made a video while on vacation? Chat, you fell for it. I didn't press V. You guys got clowned on.